Incredibly nervous here, so let's hope this works. So I'm Ian Padgham. My day job is that I produce the videos for Twitter, so I go out and I film stuff, or I do a lot of our motion graphics and animation, and I'm kind of like the in-house artist, so I do a lot of our illustrations and stuff. And I think what we're going to do, this is for more artists than public speakers, so this is a little rough, but we're going to walk through some of the stuff we did and then talk about, what we think about Vine as a platform, what you can do with it, and the concept of creativity, and maybe what it means for advertisers and for people trying to kind of like get out there and connect with people in a lot of the ways that we've seen tonight. So, if this works. So, in my work, it's kind of a mixed bag. I've done everything from kind of weird stuff like this on Vine, which is about serving coffee in space, and I was immediately, scolded by everyone on Vine saying that in space there's no gravity, so that was a false video. I do a lot of stuff that's kind of like paper cutouts, so this is all just like pieces of paper from a British artist who moved to California named Edward Muybridge. Kind of more zany stuff. This is my wife down by Green Park when we were here last week. This was in a pub right near there, and I've done all these animations with this little woodman, and that was how to finish a Friday night in London. Here's another one of him kind of folding an airplane, how to get carried away with your imagination. And then, here's a behind the scenes, hopefully, there's no audio, thank God, of how I did it, which was essentially putting a fishing line and sending this out over the street of San Francisco. I do some other little things that are kind of more quick turnaround of, I called it playing with my toy cars, and I've done a couple of those. I even did one on the Thames the other day, the Thames. And then I was in Berlin the other day doing some fashion stuff, and luckily it was awesome because I was in the press box, and so you had all these guys with these giant cameras, and then you had one guy with an iPhone on a tripod. But yeah, just one more here, which is kind of, Anyways, that's my work. Pinot, I'll pass it over to you, and then I guess we'll talk. Does that sound good? Yeah?
So my name is Pinot. Basically, I have the same work like Ian as a motion graphic designer in the Kuwait TV station. But my main interest is about animation, basically. So I found that Vine at the first time, it's just like giving me a space, a tiny space for creation, for doing an animation in analog way, not digital, but it gives me a chance, or it gives us a chance to challenge ourselves that basically we can do anything without digital. So we explore any possibility with it within only 6 seconds, and the limitation we cannot upload from the previous footage, so we change ourselves, and with a little help from my this one. So like this one, this is a project experiment with my daughters. He wants to make an overlay effect. The bird is flying, which is only possible in digital. But she said, why not we are doing with transparent plastic and painting on it. It's very simple. It's a very basic, but it gives me and Ian gives us a direction that anything is possible as long as it's creative and it has message. And this is another experiment with daughter. My kids now understand about the story. How to build a story only in the 6 seconds. Now they understand about the beginning. Now they understand about the ending. How to stop, because this is basically a long story. The original was 30 seconds video, but now they are splitting in the 3 different video. So now they understand about how to tell a story in the different parts. And this is also, we are making this for Mother Day, I think. Mother's Day, right? Yes. So basically, it's a family project. Everyone is involved. My wife, my youngest son, 3 years old son. So basically, it's just like as if we have a story to tell with video. We have a story to tell in a very short way. Not because if we are talking about longest video, let's say 30 seconds in the middle, the kids will get bored or the story change. There's an improvisation that stop us to finalize the story. Within 6 seconds, we can build our mini story, but with a message. This is one example. The idea was coming from my daughter that if the sky has limits, so if it has limits, so birds can fly everywhere. So this is based on that story. We built this story because it's paper. Paper has age. So this is the. And this is another kind of nature of vine. It loops. So basically, the story has no ending, has no beginning. In vine, I think there are two stories that has beginning and ending, or look like this one. And this one is I'm doing this experiment with extra hand. I'm doing this at the office. My boss want me to do work until midnight, I think. But before I start to work, I prefer to playing with the pencil and paper, doing for a few. I think it's less than hours, done in less than hours. So basically, fine for us, it's just like a doodling in the tissue paper when you are doing nothing, your mind wandering and just drawing. Fine is like something like that for us. And this is for a message for the Houston bombing and marathon bombing. This is a example about loops, but the message is keep running. And this is the Mother's Day. It's a bit tricky, it's challenging when we are doing with the kids, because the kids get bored easily. So we have to put anything to make them happy, keep smiling. And this is the example about a trailer. It's about Pacific Rim. Everything was done in analog. I'm just cutting a paper with the lamp behind. No digital required. This is another experiment with my kids.
Who's coming? The Empire.
The remake from the Star Wars. I was drawing in the window, frame by frame. So everything is possible on Vine. And this is another story. There is a sound, so basically it's an audiovisual. What is different with Vine, with GIF is it has sound, so the message is much more stronger. This is another story.
No, you were coming.
Drawing on the window. Okay, Ian, you want to share another thing?
So I think what was interesting is both of us showed up here a little bit early and we had a long chance to talk about how we've used the application. And I think what was fascinating about it was for both of us coming out of it, we're both from a kind of a motion graphics, animation background. But both of us now, I think we felt so relieved with this application because typically if you work in After Effects or in 3ds Max or other kind of programs, it's difficult to free yourself from kind of like all the tools at your disposal, all the technique that you can employ to make these incredible videos. And I think there's something really powerful with the idea of Vine and its limitations and just how simple the app is, the fact that children can use it and enjoy it. My grandmother tried it and she loved it. And I think it's kind of, it reminds me a lot. I mean, my day job, again, is making videos for Twitter, and one of my constant plights is trying to make a video that explains what Twitter is, that people could watch. But one of the key elements of Twitter is, the 140 characters, the limitations, and I think that that kind of restriction is the same with Vine, where you can't do a lot, you can't edit, you can't upload stuff, and you only have 6 seconds. And we were both discussing the idea that I think what's beautiful, and there's so many people doing just incredible work like we've seen earlier, is that I think there's something about, not to wax too poetic, but there's something about the way that humans react to kind of a confined space. If you give someone the most impressive tools in the world, the strongest programs, you kind of get lost because you have too many options. And what I think we've seen blossom out of Vine is that given such small parameters, people have taken that, and whereas you might think that you don't do anything, people have done just fantastic things in that space, and it's actually really liberating to just have this opportunity to do that. And to kind of hopefully tie this back into more maybe why a lot of you are here, one of the other things I do is, instead of my own account, I make almost all the Vines for like @Twitter and Twitter Sports and other accounts. And it's been fascinating because previously it would be like someone would come to me and say, we've got a huge spike in something trending about the NBA. Can you make a video that's like 45 seconds long about this? And it would take a week, and we would do this just incredible visual and everything, and we'd put it out, and it would do well. But what's cool is since then I've switched to the point where now I'm just making a Vine in like an hour with, I think you guys call it plasticine, we call it Play-Doh, where it's just like something quirky that shows like the growth of tweets and stuff. And from either an ad or a marketing, but in any case a real-time perspective, the ability to have a platform that's highly shareable, incredibly creative, but that you can just kind of be on it and do something very human. As a Twitter employee, it feels right on the spot because we're so much about kind of like that constraint and that humanness. But what has been great too from an ROI and hopefully promotion perspective is that when we post Vines that are pretty real-time about events, you see that people are much more likely to engage with something that's 6 seconds long and kind of quirky than a 1.5-minute video, no matter how much time I would have invested in it. And so there's something kind of magical, I think, that's happened that we were both talking about, that the idea of having this constraint has actually opened whole new doors to the ways that you can think about story, the way that you can express ideas, the ways that you can share creativity, and have people really want to share it with others and also get a pretty impactful message out of it. Cut me off when I start going too long. But I think there's something really cool, and I've been going around meeting with a lot of people in London here, a lot of the kind of the newspapers and stuff, and talking about how they could use Vine and giving examples. And I see so much potential of what people can start doing with this application, whether it's reporting the news, getting news from kind of citizen journalists, or whether it's an advertising agency, kind of like thinking up ways that you don't need to spend kind of like, as a born and raised Californian, you don't need to be totally Hollywood and just throw money at something. There's something just so awesome and beautiful about the idea of simplicity, which I think is at the essence of what's really cool about Vine. So I'm going to pass you the mic before I go on anymore.
Yes, I want to give you the example that I think there's a sound. So, okay. See, this is basically I'm helping my friend. He was working in the glass company. He wants to. The message is about the powerful the glass that protect you from any kind of situation. So he said that can you make a message, a strong message in the 6 seconds to tell about the glass, how to protect yourself with the glass. So I said that if we can tell the whole story in 140 characters on Twitter, why not in Vine in 6 seconds? So basically it's the same. We summarize the idea. We make it the essence of the idea itself and make it in the very short way in Twitter in 140 characters, but here it's only 6 seconds. I just made this with the card with the black paper and I just making my own voice. Something I'm done when kids sleep at night, so it's not going to bother them. So this is the behind story about how we do communication in the short way, and especially like this one is basically it's just like a prototype of doing a little advertising on Vine.